and gentlemen, welcome to another broadcast on this great Friday night here of Bar League Hockey. And it's going to be an exciting show here. We got some special guests. We got a lot to talk about. Your recap of week number 5. Can you believe it already? Week 5 in the books here. My name is Mr. Hollywood here for Bar League Hockey. And as always, I'm joined by my man right here, Big D in the house. Big D, how you doing over there, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Awesome. Hey, we're back on Friday. That's good. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? We switched here and there some Saturdays prior, but Friday night back to the regular time schedule. And we got a lot to talk about, man. I mean, a lot of stuff happened. The stuff we talked about, Mick Tricky, it went down to Scrub City, but it wasn't such an impressive week for Scrub City. 2-2-2 this week. I mean, not an awful week, but an okay one, I guess. But two teams that were hot, the Ice Hogs and River Hawks. Dominant week. They didn't lose a game in regulation for both. Mago picked it up this week. Oldie's still struggling, and Warriors right there, right on top there. I think only a point now behind. So welcome to the program, guys, for this Friday night. And Big D, you want to introduce our guests here? We have guests here tonight. Not one, but two of them, man. And it's not Hoagie.
Yeah, so we have two special guests. Actually, two are owners of clubs. So we have CN65 from the Riverhawks, and we have Officer Snipe, as known as Sniper, from the Ice Hogs. How are you guys?
Doing good so far. So far, so good.
So CN, man, let me know what team you play for, position-wise, and how long have you been here in the Bar League?
All right. So I own GM of the Riverhawks. I am a defenseman and a questionable goalie at best. But I've been around Bar, I think, since season 6. So with I was with Harty owning, and just been around since then.
What team is that?
That was the Rochester Wild, I believe.
Okay.
Back when you and Maggle, I believe, owned and went to the finals. I could be wrong, but
It's been so long.
I don't know.
I
It was
don't
the
remember.
Roosters, so maybe that was Pockets, but yeah.
So that was the season I had the Emperors, I believe.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, man,
Okay.
taking it back over there. What about you, Snipe, man? What team you on, man? And how long you been here?
I'm GM of the Frontline Ice Hogs. I played my first debut in Bar, and I want to say it was season 5. Big D over here drafted me, and I won the Vez that season, and then I ended up taking a break, and I haven't been back until now. And this year I've mainly played defense, but I'm all over the place. We've struggled with availability this season, so I don't think I've played the same position twice, 2 nights in a row. But I've mainly played defense this year.
Nice, man. Nice. Hey, it's great to have another Ice Hog member here besides Hoagie. I mean, you guys are on a tear here this season. Impressive week this past week for the Ice Hogs. But I want to bring it back to CN over here, man. You know, CN, you've been involved in a lot of trades, a lot of moves this season there for the Riverhawks. I think every week I've seen some moves here and there. Me and Big D talked about moving, including my partner, Big D, was one of the guys that was moved around. How do you feel about those moves? Is there anyone that you regretted making, or are you okay with the moves you've made? Do you feel better with the team you got now than what you started with?
Yeah, I think kind of what we started with. If we had that right now, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would still be very happy, very pleased. When I moved out Brandon and Cash out to get Big D, that one hurt a little bit, especially with losing Brandon. He's a great guy. Same with Cash Out, of course. But overall, I mean, I think I'm happy with what I did, with what we did. I think I traded like 2 or 3 times with Snipe here, so overall, I think just in general, our team's in a little bit better of a place. Sucked moving out Big D this last time, but he kind of talked about on last week's show, the fit just really wasn't there, and I didn't want to kind of keep him just sitting. It's not fair to him.
Okay.
So, I know that last week I watched the stream a little bit. We did talk about a little bit about it in messages and stuff. How do you feel Sawyer has been on the wing? I know he only got one chance, but I know you flip-flopped Dizzy and Sawyer. How do you think that worked out?
I think that one worked out pretty well. Him especially being on a line with Pockets, his brother. That connection is, of course, going to be amazing to have. And one of the issues that I talked with him a little bit about, and of course I talked to the Big D, is that he a lot of times wanted to look Sawyer when he was at defense. He a lot of times wanted to look just for Pockets, and that still kind of happened. But at least now with him being on the wing, it really gave a different look to our team. The offense, it was only the one game, of course. It was also AT, I think that's how you say his name, his first game. So that connection hadn't been established yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it gave a good look, different look to our offense, different look to our defense. I think if I can get that working, with availability going forward, I think that's probably something I would look for with Sawyer being on the wing instead. And it's no hate to him at D. I mean, he's still top 10 in the league in points, and he's only played one forward game. So,
CN, man, what was the whole thing with my man Max Shrimp, man? You started off with him, you moved him, you got him back on the team. Was that just to bust his balls, or was there an actual concept to that move?
Okay, so the concept is that he did not fit with the team. I had multiple people saying like, "Hey, this just isn't working." We had a night where we had to play a makeup game, so we played 3 straight, and that didn't go well with Shrimp on the wing there. And at the time, he really was just really wanting to play wing only. So I didn't want to, and made the call to waive Shrimp. I was hoping he would, I was hoping I would keep him on my TC. Obviously, he was claimed by the Ice Hogs, so that of course did suck. But then when we were able to bring him back, I mean, he kind of, I think, just realized that I wasn't playing games, and so I was going to go ahead and put him on defense majority, where I think a lot of people can agree he's probably the best at. And that's kind of just the end of that story. I mean, I hated having to lose him, but then getting him back, I mean, I guess no love lost there.
Nice, man. Hey, listen, me and my partner definitely agree with you there. We do find Max Shrimp a lot better on that defensive side. He's won cups there as well, man.
So one last question I have is, what's the deal with Pringmeister? He's played 2 games. He's got 14 points. Where's this guy been?
So from what I understand, he's in like 3 or 4 other leagues that are all at that same time. Maybe it's not that many, but he's definitely got other leagues at that time. Last week he was supposed to be in, like the week we just had, he was supposed to be in because I was looking to maybe try to get him playoff eligible, see what my options would be coming, down the line as far as what that playoff roster would look like. And he had some playoffs in another league, so he wasn't able to make it. And just with the availability we had, I just couldn't really get him in, unfortunately. So
Well-
I plan to keep him in. I mean, the 2 games he played, obviously, like you said, 14 points. So I mean, that's if he's going to be able to do that, that's going to be amazing going forward. He is a late sign up though, so he can only play 3 games max, even in the playoffs. Which, I mean, it will suck if especially if we get it. But we've got some really good depth, and I mean, yeah, that was part of like the reason we moved on from Big D is that the depth that we have overall is crazy. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'd like to say that we probably have some of the best depth or the best depth in the league.
Okay. I was wondering the same there, Big D, man. I mean, I was doing the stats earlier today. We got the new graphics over there on the leaderboards. I see this guy points per game. I'm like, why isn't this guy playing more? There's just no way CN is benching this guy off, but that makes sense. Availability, and his gets better on that. I mean, I see the Riverhawks getting better as well because that man has proven this season. I mean, just the few games he's played has tore it up, man.
Yeah, so does he play right wing?
Yes, he is right wing and he can play center as well. That was originally where I had him this week before I had to swap some things around.
So why do you have so many right wings?
Because I mean, I'll start kind of from the top. I mean, as far as what we plan, going into that draft, we got Shrimp in the second round. Wanted him to play defense. That didn't really work out as well, obviously. But I mean, now we're at, so we're good there. Got Dizzy, who is actually the plan was originally for him to be a center. We got him and Brandon, and we were thinking that those two would be our top 2 centers. Ended up, of course, getting Quick, so things kind of got moved around, and when I moved Dizzy to the wing, that connection that Mizzy, Quick, and Dizzy all had there on that line was just so good. So I couldn't really. It was kind of hard to move Dizzy off the wing there. Of course, I got Sawyer. He was originally supposed to be defense. He still probably might play some, as well as some right wing if I can. And not then you got Pring and JT. Both of them were RA to me as well in different weeks of bidding. And so I mean I didn't know really too much about Pring. I'll be honest. I mean I kind of feel bad that I held him out. Like I almost held him out, earlier weeks, but I had no clue about how good he was or anything. I'll admit. So that's I'll take the blame on that, of course. But yeah. So we're just kind of unfortunately, however you want to look at it, just a lot of right wings. I think Dizzy's going to play some defense going forward as well, so that'll help kind of spread that depth there out as well.
You think guys transition on there as far as like the handness going left, right? If you move them around on there with that. And you mentioned with Dizzy, Mizzy. I mean, how the hell's that Xbox party, man? With those guys trying to call that. I mean, that must be pretty crazy there. But you guys are getting it done, though, man. I mean, impressive week, 5-0-1 this week. So you must be doing something right, man.
Yeah. Of course, credit to the team. I mean, they played amazing. I mean, I had multiple games that I think I probably tried my best to lose for the team, but in terms of the way I was playing. So, I mean, the rest of the team has been lights out. Krejci, he's been best noteworthy up to this point. Just the list goes on, as far as who's played well.
Okay.
So out of all,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Man. Out of all those names that you had mentioned, none of them was Huncho Mikey, and Huncho Mikey's a great freaking player.
Yes.
And not only that, but I also wanted to mention that I think it was in free agents or RA. You got America Bob too, who's a great solid defenseman. So you want to talk about those two?
Yeah, sure, of course. Huncho Mikey, I mean, he plays LG and then has work on Wednesday, so the availability can be a little iffy sometimes. That's why he only ended up getting into the one game this week. And so, I mean, him at center is like really his primary position where I'm going to be kind of playing him. That's why I didn't really like mention him earlier. Um, but I mean, he's amazing to like play with as like on the ice in the party. He's great to talk to, and both those things that I just said can be said about Merca Bob. Those I got Bob in free agency on a $1 million deal. Like I don't. If anyone else had cap space that week or the roster space that week, I don't even know that I would have got him. I mean, he's worth more than that, especially the way he's been playing. He's been playing really, really great. Uh, of course, with them both being late signups, can really only play the 3 games a week. I'm someone who likes to play my lines like the same. Like I don't like to have to split the lines unless I have to. Um, so I tend to only get them to 2 games a week, but they easily could play that third, and I wouldn't have any complaints necessarily if I played them that third. I mean, they're both great. Like, I mean, I've had conversations with both of them about how much those two really mean to the team. Like just adding that extra, so it's not all on just a few guys. Like it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about Honcho Mikey, man. I mean, you got him back there. I mean, you look at the roster. I mean, you guys are pretty damn stacked on here, and it looks like the only thing that could bring the downfall right now at this point this season is availability. If that continues, coming through the playoffs, you guys are there, man. Definitely a deep roster here. I gotta agree with you there, and it has shown, especially the past 2 weeks here for the Riverhawks, man. So, out of all the teams on here, which team you think gives you guys the most competition, the toughest team so far this season that you guys match up with, man?
I mean, without a doubt, it's got to be Scrub City, right? I mean, they're number one for a reason. We end up, a lot of times going up against their top line of, Barrow, Geezer, and then J Whips or Hammer or just I mean, and the defense, and sometimes it's Jingle and Net, and you got Martini as well. I mean, and of course, Dyke and Chad can both play Net as well. So I mean, those guys got to be the team that we hate playing against the most. We played them twice this week. That was a nightmare going into it. Of course, we ended up coming out on top, but both of them were 1-goal games. One in OT, the last goal was scored with like 30 seconds left, and it was very much an EA goal. So like, I mean, those 2 games could have gone either way. I think it's got to be them, but there's also got to be some credit to the Ice Hogs with Snipe. They, for some reason, it's just like every time we play them, it's just almost as tough as Scrub City, like truly. So, but either of those 2 teams for sure. But if I had to pick, of course, it'd be Scrub City.
Yeah, I love watching the when you guys play the Ice Hogs, man. The goalie match up there as well between so it's definitely always tight games between you guys, man. So awesome. We still got Snipe over here, right, Big D?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
Are you still here?
Yeah.
There he is. Hey, Stipe, man, I gotta ask you, man. I mean, we've had Hoagie here on the show before, man. But it seems like you're the man that makes the decisions, man. Makes the final call on that team. Is that so, man?
Other than the shrimp signing in FA, most of it is, yeah. Any trade we've made so far, minus the TC deal that I think Hoagie made with the Warriors, I think it was a couple weeks ago. That's the only trade that wasn't me. And signing shrimp off FA wasn't me, but Hoagie did consult me with that, which at the time seemed like a good idea, but he was a big contract, I'm not gonna lie, and having a guy on our roster that didn't really want to be with us and wanted to give more demands than supply, it wasn't worth keeping him around, so I shipped him back to CN, which ultimately didn't pan out for me in the end because the guy that we acquired left the league. But I mean, CN and I talked about that. I was prepared for that to happen, but other than that, most of our moves so far has been me.
Okay.
Who was it? Was it that Shefty guy?
Yeah, Svecci. I played with him a couple games outside of the league, and I knew what he was coming into the league for, and I was prepared to do whatever it took to not let that happen. So losing Shrimp for him to prevent him from going to Scrub City was a win-win for me.
Okay. Okay.
So what does Hoagie actually do then?
Ho-
Other than sit at the freaking goal line and get Hoagie goals.
no, Hoagie does do a lot for this team. I mean, anything to do like statistic wise and like team organization wise and Discord wise, like if we didn't have Hoagie running this team, man, the whole place would be lost. Like there's only a couple guys on our team that don't put in a veil, and like they'll just Snapchat me when they're gonna play or not play. But after losing Donnie to waivers, that's even less now. It's really just Sharp Poppy, but he started putting in a veil too, because Hoagie gave him the kick in the butt, saying, "Yo, I'm not putting up with this no more. Put in your freaking avail." So he's kind of like, he's the big man in the locker room. I'm just the guy bringing in and shipping out players.
Okay, there we go. You guys hear it right here, live on the Friday show. Snipe Man. I mean, when you guys first started off this season, man, you guys started off with a lot of rookies on that team, man. Like a lot of new guys or first season into the bar league here. Did you expect that when you first put this team together, or is it guys that you knew on there, or you decided to just take a chance with a lot of those new players?
I got to be honest with you, C Webby I took in the second round, and I didn't know who he was until the night before the draft. I'm usually not one to scout. I'll be honest, I'm a big RP whore. I don't like losing, but I decided, I was like, you know what? This one time, there's a bunch of guys on this list I don't know, and most of my draft board was buddies. But I played a couple games with that Drizzy guy. I think he's on the Warriors now. He's a goalie or something. And he's in the chat all the time. he played with us that night, and then C Webby and Fortified played. And I was like, yo, I looked at Hoagie. I was like, dude, we got to draft this guy. I was like, I don't want to play against this guy. So we went ahead. We took him in the second round, and it ended up panning out because he's like second or third on the leaderboards in points right now. But other than Webby and Fortified, I knew the whole team I was drafting.
Okay. Well, Webby
C.
definitely
Webby is-
worked out, man. For you guys.
C Webby is actually first in points right now with 68.
Yeah,
Remember when Hoagie was up there, man? What happened, man?
I think he hasn't had much availability. He's been working and bowling and stuff, and
He didn't want all the glory. Is that what it is?
I don't know about that. So let's what was the process in trying to deal for me? Like I know that CN obviously decided to get rid of me. So what was the process and how you guys acquired me and why?
CN and I actually talked for our deal with you had to have been, I don't know, I want to say a week long probably. CN can probably chime in on that too, but I think we went back and forth on different offers for a week, and then once we finally came up with like what we thought was going to be an idea, we still had to wait for Shrimp to clear waivers. So how long were we talking?
I think the Shrimp waiver thing was from the Svecci deal, because basically my thought process, if someone claimed him, I wasn't gonna try to. The deal kind of was gonna fall through. But with the Big D one, yeah, I mean it was at least a couple days for sure. I mean back and forth, kind of the little numbers about it, who didn't want to include it at all, and retention as well was a thing. So yeah, I mean it was yeah, at least a couple days.
Well, the
I'm
other the
interested.
other thing
Oh, go
is
ahead.
though, the other thing about the deal for you and Patriots is, I was in talk with another team to get Patriots, which was also delaying my deal with CN because another team had approached me for Patriots or Oscar, whichever you want to call him, same guy, different day. But I was prepared to send him to a different team, but they wanted they were asking me for more, but giving me less. And CN, we figured like, don't get me wrong, the other deal, I mean, it would have been good,
Trade
but
deadline's over, so you could talk about it.
it didn't
It's not
benefit.
over yet.
Yeah, it's just
The
about.
trade deadline's Sunday, I think, but it
Oh,
didn't benefit both teams as well as you and Patriots did. The main thing that swayed me into taking you instead of the other deal was you're multi-positional, and I specifically asked CN probably 6 times before I actually accepted the deal if you'd be willing to play goalie on a night when we absolutely needed a goalie. And CN said he talked to you and like you were agreed on it. So that was the major sway that I needed because Patriots, he was my first round draft pick for a reason. I mean, the guy plays every position on the ice except goalie. He does it well. He doesn't turn the puck over. Like he's really good with the puck, but his availability was starting to kick us in the butt, and without him on the ice and our original roster, we had bad availability and non-multi-positional players. I mean, half of my roster only plays forward or only plays one position. Like I got two guys that only play right wing, one of them being Hoagie, but he started to play left wing just to get more ice time. But we needed to find that guy that would come in and play multiple positions, but still play them well. And like we needed that playoff piece, like the Bruins wanted Bertuzzi. Like I didn't need a first round draft pick. I ended up getting one, but I didn't need one. But it just that your deal made the most sense to both teams. I mean, I feel like it was a win-win both ways. CN got I mean, I want to say a masterpiece of a playoff player. Like you can play the guy in any position, he's going to play it well. And you fit way better on our team than his, so it was a win-win both ways. And that was ultimately what pulled the whole piece together.
yeah, that's pretty much what we discussed last week. Was that I felt like it was a win-win for both sides. I felt like CN needed more. I mean, I think the Riverhawks are pretty offensive heavy, and I think Patriots would have just filled in nicely on the back end, and then with me, playing wing and also playing goalie, I just felt like both teams won. Well, not necessarily won, but both teams benefited from it.
Okay. Big D, any other questions for you, guy, man, on here? And then we're gonna get into some of the recap here from this week, and you guys are welcome to stay on if you guys want. I'll give you guys input on any of the stuff me and Big D go over. Anything else you got for these guys, man?
I do not for right now.
All right. So what I want to get into on here, and CN mentioned before on this, but Scrub City, man. Scrub City's been dominant week in, week out, number one on the rankings. After week after week. But this week, they're still number one. It's still number one, but it's getting very close, very tight on there on the standings. Maybe 1 point separates or two at the most from the top three teams right now in the standings. So Scrub City went 2-2-2, man. They acquired McTricky on that, but not a good week here. I mean, not a bad one, but not a good one here if you're Scrub City. Was it because they played the Riverhawks this week? Was it because Scrub City did not perform What do you think, Big D? What happened this week with the Scrub City team?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they just had not good weeks because availability or what, but I know that we played them. We took them in overtime. I mean, they had a lot of OT games. I think they had 3 OT games.
Yeah,
They lost 2 of them.
correct.
So that was one against us, and I think one against CN's team. And I don't know if it was just that Fat Geezer didn't play, and I don't know if it was availability or just they were just off sync for the week or what. But they didn't have a very good week.
CN, you played them twice, man. This week, did they have on there the guys they needed? They look like guys out of position, not there that weren't supposed to there. Like, how'd you guys take down Scrub City this week, man?
I don't think it was anything that they, at least in the games versus us. I don't think there was necessarily anything they did like wrong as far as whether because of availability, out of position players or anything necessarily. When we played them Wednesday, that was they had split their lineups between game 1 and 2. We were game 2, and they had McTricky, Barrow, Geezer, Optimus Crime, BPAC, and I believe it was Stike in net. And on Monday it was a very similar lineup. I don't remember exactly who all was in. I know Jingle was in net. I don't, as far as the way those 2 games go, I don't think it was anything necessarily because of a lack of availability.
Yes, it sounds like they had their guys, man. They had their guys out there. But you took them out, man. This week on here. What was the difference this week? I suppose it was because the moves you made. You had a different team on here against them, against Scrub City. Did they not play as well as they did the prior weeks? You guys faced them, or what?
I want to say I don't really have a real solid answer because both games could have gone completely either way. There was times, for both games, of course, that both, Riverhawks dominated. There was times that Scrub City dominated, and we couldn't get it out of, our own zone and vice versa. And I don't necessarily know what really truly happened, other than I mean, personally, captains of Riverhawks, I wanted to say, we had a more well-rounded lineup for what we wanted to have. Game 1, Shrimp was on D with me, and then game 2, Sawyer. But in game 2, we also had Huncho Mikey coming in up at right wing. So I don't really. It's a tough one for me because I think, for the Riverhawks perspective, we easily could have came out of those games losing 2 more than we did this week. So, and game 1, like I said earlier, was just an EA goal for the game-winning goal with 30 seconds left. It's not on really either team for good or for bad.
Okay.
I would say that game 1, Doc was your star.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
And that's also a huge thing. Krejci, Doc, he has been playing lights out this week at points we did not deserve to win games. I believe it was game 1 on Wednesday. Those are against the Maggles. We didn't play very well, but Krejci did. So, he had some good stops when we needed them. So, without him, I think a lot of this week would have been flopped. But yeah. So yeah, you're right, Big D. Krejci definitely was the star for most of it.
Big D, man, you talked about, they were in close games here and there. They could have, CN just mentioned, games could win either way. But listen, man, look at Scrub City. They're right now number 1 in the standings, but this week, their only wins was against the Oldies and against the Warriors. And that can't happen, man, especially this time of the season here where we're approaching the playoff time. And those are the only teams that you won the games. I don't care how close they are. A loss is a loss on here. And is this a sign of decline for Scrub City? Or do you think it was just this bad week here for Scrub City? They'll bounce back here next week.
I think they'll bounce back. I mean, they just got too much talent. I can't. The reason why I say they'll bounce back is because one, they have too much talent, but I don't mean like they're gonna like go by storm and they're gonna like get all these points and they're gonna just leapfrog everybody. Like Ice Hogs and Riverhawks they're that close. So, Riverhawks beats. Let's just say game 1. It's Riverhawks against Scrub City. If Riverhawks win, they're number 1. So that's how close. I mean, you got 42 points, 41 points, and 40. I mean, that's pretty. That's almost identical. So I mean, I think if all three teams keep winning, I mean, it's still going to be just as close. But I don't think that they'll. I mean, being that they got Matricky too, I don't think they'll slow down at all.
Well, you guys played them right as well. Your game was tremendous. I mean, 2 great goaltenders going at it with Jingles, Volzy on there. 2-1 game. Who got the game winner? Was it you or Webb?
Yeah, it was me.
It was you, man. All right, okay. It's but so I mean, we'll see. I mean, that a couple overtimes, like you mentioned, 3 overtime games this week. But it's just. I mean, for a weekend, this was good for both the Ice Hogs and the Riverhawks because as you look at the standings, when we talked about it last week, I think Scrub City had like, what was it, like a 6-point lead ahead of them, but now it's like 1, maybe 2 points. They're all right there, neck to neck here. These 3 teams. What's gonna happen, man? Are we gonna see a change? Are we finally gonna see Scrub City lose that number 1 spot? Are the Ice Hawks or the Riverhawks going to overtake them this week, or it's still too soon, man?
I think. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because I'm on the team, but I think Ice Hogs is going to catch them. Okay. They had a really good solid week, as well as Riverhawks. So they both went 5-0-1. And I just we played, at least in the 2 games I played, I played really well. 40 played really well, and so did C Webby. C Webby's a beast. And Volzy and net, man. Kid's unreal. I don't even know why you take him out and put him on wing, but he got 2 solid wins, and I mean, Sniper can talk about it. Go ahead.
In terms of, and like that question you just asked Big D on can the Ice Hogs catch him, with the exception of a few tough breaks this week, if I had kept Volzy in net, I mean, we ended up winning the game anyway, but it was way too close against the oldies, and we ended up dropping a game in overtime this week to
the Warriors, right? Okay.
But if we don't lose that game, then we're currently sitting in first place, and we still have a game in hand on both the Riverhawks and the Scrub City. We're 1 point behind the first place team with 1 less game played, and
because there was a reschedule, right?
Yeah, we still have to play a game against Maggles, so we've played 1 less game, and we're sitting in second place. So I'd be lying if I said I was disappointed in how this team's been performing, but there's still a few changes we got to make, but I think we have the roster to do it.
That's a good point. Good solid point you bring right there. You guys got that 1 game in hand, so that definitely changes the dynamic. And it's gonna be a big Monday, man, because you guys play Scrub City on that Monday night. So That's a huge matchup right there because that could swing things right there and then on Monday night against Grove City. So I'm definitely looking forward to that showdown. Hopefully they could get some commentary on that game because I'd love to see that one there. Big Monday on March 20th coming up this week.
Ooh, excuse me.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at everything else. Mango had pretty decent. They bounced back after an awful week last week. They went 4-2 this week. So they sit pretty tight right there in that fourth spot. As the oldies and Warriors, Warriors. Look, man, when we said they're going to overtake the oldies, they almost did because the oldies went 0-6. Not a good sign there. But the Warriors continue to get a couple wins, man. They're getting the wins here, over some of these top teams. And they're right there on the standings. This is the week, I think, that the Warriors, finally get it there. No, they did, right? They got them with the 1 point already? 18 and 17? Okay. So we predicted that right, man, Big D.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back,
did.
man.
I think the problem with the oldies is just they stink. I mean, I don't. They just do. I mean, and not only that, but the problem with that is that like people are now bouncing.
Yeah.
So, like, good on what's the guy's name? Lusky for keeping the team together because people like I think their best player Chaos Mouth bounced. So they did get Little in a trade this either this week or last week or something. So that helps them out a little bit, but I don't know, they're just struggling.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad because there's a couple guys on that team that I really like, and
they were, man. And like I said, when they after the draft, I didn't think this was a bad team at all. But then, availability, you mentioned guys playing off position too, or not the position they're accustomed to, and then it just took from there. It's been a downhill ever since. Warriors actually looking up on here. So I don't see. I think they took too long to make moves too. I think they should have had pulled the trigger on here a lot sooner. But it is what it is, there, man. I mean, not every team's gonna be great. Every team, and right now the oldies, right at that bottom there. So Warriors, and it sucks because the Warriors are really playing good, man. They're, we talked about losing tight games. I mean, the Warriors are in that boat on there. They're just trying to get over that hump, man. They're getting the wins, man, but they're not getting enough. And now with Mago, who had a very good week here, it's gonna make things much harder there for them. Because Magos know what's up there, man. They seen what the Warriors are doing, so they don't want to be placed in that spot. But. Yeah, I think it's just not enough time there for the Warriors, but they're definitely playing a lot better hockey, much more competitive games than when they started out, especially there with Big D early in the season.
Well, I mean, they have several players that are pretty good, but they're not playing. Like JP Nasty and Dimes, I think, has been traveling for work, so he's only played like 8 games or something. So that would help them on the back end at goaltender. But right now their leading scorer is Stump at left wing, and he's not even a left wing. He's not a natural left wing. He's a defenseman.
Who's this Hopi guy, man? Hope or Hope?
I don't know who Hope is. I know he comes into the Discord and talks a lot of shit, but I guess he's apparently a good player. So he came in. I think he's been playing goalie, so he has an average of 4 goals a game and a save percentage at .846, which isn't terrible. But I think I remember him playing defense, if I remember.
But why isn't he on the ice though, man? I mean, he played 1 game this season, 8 points in that game. But you're saying goalie wise, maybe they needed the goalie. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
I don't know, but I mean, like I said, I mean, you have your three main guys that are playing are Stump Brandon and Adam Westfield.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you need more availability from JP Nasty and Cash Out and Mullen. He's only played 8 games. He's a solid left wing, but I guess apparently he's supposed to be management, but he's been. I don't know where he's been, but yeah, I think it's just more of availability, and they're just getting the players that they can.
I want to ask, since we have guests here as well, I want to ask all you guys, man. Right now, here after week 5, who, player-wise, this season, man, this season alone, who has surprised you guys the most, good or bad, man, that has made, met the expectations or more on there, or has really not performed as he has in the past seasons? Is there any guy that stands out to you looking at it here after week 5? And starting with anybody on here, maybe a player on your team or player you're going against, or looking at the leaderboards right now. Is there anyone that stands out, good or bad, that has either overperformed what they usually do or underperformed here this season?
Snipe, do you have anybody off the top of your head, or you go ahead and go first?
I got a few actually.
Okay, you go ahead and go.
If we're talking about overperforming, I gotta go with my boy Webby. I mean, I drafted him in the second round because I thought the guy was good, but I mean, I wasn't expecting him to lead the entire league in points when I drafted him. I thought he was just gonna be like slightly above average and like help our team win, but I mean, this guy's gone above and beyond for us.
I agree. I mean, his draft stock's going to be crazy next season as opposed to this, because a lot of people are familiar with him, and especially the way he started off the season is crazy, and he continues to do so. And a big part for you guys. I mean, your guys' success here so far this season, absolutely. One of those tremendous forwards up front. That's not Hoagie.
Another guy who's gone above and beyond this season. I mean, he dropped all the way to the 7th round. I don't know about you, but I'm not expecting a 7th round draft pick to turn a team that didn't start out so strong into a team that's starting to beat your top ranked teams on paper. And the guy I'm talking about is Brandon. He's playing center on the Warriors, and at the beginning of the season, the way the draft went, I was like, okay, we're gonna have a pretty decent team. I mean, competition in this league. And then it started off not so well. You had a couple guys TR, and you brought in a couple new guys, and all of a sudden this guy, 7th round pick, has turned a decent team into a good team. I mean, he's a good player. I knew who he was, but like, where's this coming from? I mean, the man's like, he's the man right now.
I gotta agree with you there. Big D, CN, you guys got anybody here this season?
Ballsy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I got. Ballsy.
Yeah, Ballsy has been crazy. Although I will, I guess kind of. I know this is kind of your guy here. I kind of think a lot of people expected him to do that. I have no idea how he fell to the round that he did. I can tell you.
He didn't sign up as goalie.
Yeah, so he started. So unless it's because people were just looking at like primary position, and he still had goalie as his secondary. So it's not like Dimes, G Guard. They both didn't sign up as goalie, like I believe at all, at least out of their top 2 positions. So it's understandable for someone like that necessarily, because those guys have been goalies known here in the past. But Valsey, to me, shouldn't have fell as low as he did. I mean, I'm kicking myself for not just going ahead and picking him up at one point. Obviously, I'm still happy with my team. Don't get me wrong. Like I wouldn't change necessarily what I did, but like looking back, you see how Volsey was. I mean, I can't remember exactly what round he went in, but it was late.
He was my
He's
7th round pick because I
yeah,
went to take. I remember I was gonna pick Brandon, and Brandon went to pick right before me.
yeah.
So Patriots was actually in my party at the point in time. He said, "Yo, take this Valsey guy." And I'm gonna be honest, when I picked him, I didn't have a sweet clue who he was. But Patriots is like, "Yo, I'm pretty sure he's good." And then I asked him what he played. He's like, "I'll play wherever you need me to be." And then I put him in net the first night because I couldn't play. And from the very first night all the way till now, I was like, this guy's our goalie. I mean, like
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, like
the biggest steal, I gotta
yeah,
say.
I think
Steal.
looking back once we at the end of the season, we could all kind of look back and see who may or may not have been the biggest steal. But I don't see how it could be anyone other than Ballsy. I mean, like last season, and to go with what you were saying, how Patriots was like saying how he was good. I mean, last season he was on the Dragons, who were the last place team by like a long shot, and he still had an 801. Like, and that's what they really. No offense to the guys who are on that team, not a great defense in front of him. That was. I mean, he's a really solid goalie, and if you look at his career numbers, they've only gotten better. But anyone else have anything to say about Volsey, or I go ahead and
Nope, good.
okay. Do you have something to say, Hollywood?
No, that wraps it up pretty much. I mean, we know. I mean, and it's just as consistencies. I mean, there's goalies that step up on here. They have a good week here, but this guy's been consistent week in, week out. So it's not like a fluke or anything. Oh, he just had a great game there. And it's also the way he steals games, man. Like he comes in there. There's a lot of games that shouldn't have been won, man. And he's definitely has stolen a lot of games here this season. It's something that you won't see on the stat board there, but looking at his numbers, man, tremendous. You guys mentioned about goalies. This league, there's a lot of goalies that are good skaters as well, which is crazy. That play good forward as well, and some of these owners sometimes don't know where to place them here or try to split up the time there, but there's quite a few of those guys, man, in this league.
For sure.
My guy on here, I'm looking here, that hasn't been mentioned, Jay Whips, man. I think Jay Whips is having a breakout season here this season. I mean, we look at this Scrub City team. Yes, we know how great Geezer. He's been, had awesome seasons here in this league as well as others. Barrow. But Jay Whips is right there with those guys, man, and he's proven to be tremendous and a great breakout season here for him so far.
Yeah, I agree. He's been a monster on Scrub City. He's been pretty much filling out that line of Geezer and Barrow pretty well. I mean, he can play with anybody. He plays center, plays wing. So he's been good.
Absolutely. All right.
I did have like
yeah.
one it's kind of a combination of people I wanted to say about though. And just like Snipe here, I'm gonna kind of go with my team just because those are the ones I'm most familiar with, of course. Dizzy Bone and actually King Quick. Dizzy, he is second in the league in points. He is only 3 behind C Webby, and he has 3 less games played. So, in my opinion, had I been playing him, because originally he was only playing one night a week. Had I been playing him more throughout the early parts of the season, I think he would be. I mean, I believe he would be above C Webby at this point, and that's not to discredit C Webby at all. They're both he's a monster, so I'm not trying to take that away from him at all. I mean, like I said, 65 points. He only has 15 goals, so he has 50 assists. And he's played played mostly right wing originally. He played some center and as well as now playing some defense for me. Just kind of playing all over the place. Unfortunately for him, I think if I play him at defense, his numbers are going to start to, take a little bit of a hit. But as far as just needing him on the team, that's kind of just I need, I just have to play through availability, through the availability I got. But he's been a monster. Mizzy has 38 goals, and I gotta say at least probably 30 of them are set up straight from Dizzy. So, that's a huge part of the success that we've had as a team. I think Dizzy has been, and he's available for all generally. So he's just like a great guy to have on the team. And King Quick has also played with he's been playing between Mizzy and Dizzy. Mizzy and Dizzy. So
line.
maybe I need to get Drizzy at the trade deadline here and just see how that's gonna work. But in the parties, but no. All jokes aside, King Quick has been playing mostly between those two, and he's been a huge part of that line as well. So I don't really have anything negative to say about either of those guys. And those definitely surprised me, I guess, is I was going with that.
Okay. Well, Jingle must love calling your guys' game, man, on the play-by-play with those two on the ice. But
yeah, I do not envy him.
So is this technically our 3 stars of the week? Because I have my 3 stars of the week.
No, I do want to point out stars. We could go there now, man. We could go there, and you guys could chime in as well. Generally, me and Big D do. We pick out top performers for the week, not the season, but the week. Just this past week for week 5, who stood out on there. I want to mention one guy, Big D. Let me start this off, man. We didn't really talk much about this team here this week. That's Maggle's squad on there. They had a rough week last week, but this week they went 4-2, and the big reason why is this man. We talked about this past season. It's like, where the hell is Casper? Why isn't he playing, man? Why isn't he getting ice time? Well, he finally did, man. He played 5 games this week, man. 15 points on the ice. This man needs to play more. If Maggle wants to be, compete with those top 3 teams here this season, this man's got to play. And not only that, I don't know if this stat is right. He had 34 penalty minutes on there, man. I don't know what happened with that, but if he's off the ice that long, imagine if he didn't have those penalties. He was on the ice, probably put up 30 points this week, man. Go ahead.
I agree. I actually have him as my 3rd star. 5 games played, 12 goals, 3 assists, 15 points. Dude's a beast.
Who else you got, Big D?
Number 2, I got Krejci. He played 6 games. He went 5-1. With a shutout, and in those games he had an .850 save percentage.
Okay.
I think that's partially, like Cian said earlier, that's one of the big reasons why Riverhawks have been doing so well, is that Krejci's just been so solid in that.
No, he has, man. We talked about the goaltender wise. You have Volzy, you got Krejci. Those two have definitely been talked about a lot here, week in, week out. And that's why, like I said, man, I'm watching that matchup. It's great when you have those two going up against each other. So tremendous. You know who I liked. This weekend that yes, it was great. I mean, there was a couple great, tremendous, but I don't want to point them out. They only played 1 game, but Martini continues, to be tremendous. Even though Scrub City, like I said, went 2-2 this week. Martini, the game that he played on there, 86 save percentage for him, 32 saves this week in the 2 games played, and he did get one of those wins for Scrub City.
Yeah, he's pretty solid back there too. I think Scrub City got him like in week 2 with a trade or something. But he's been solid with him and Jingle back there. So I would like to see Jingle get some more games because he's a pretty solid goaltender. I think he's only played like 6 games, but
Yeah, they both are, and that's what great about Scrub City. Like they have that two punch, man. It's between Martini and Jingles. Whichever guy you get on there. I don't know if who to favor more on here. I mean, they're both as equally good between the pipes there, especially this season. And both of them had tremendous. I mean, you look at this week. Martini had an 86.56 percentage. Jingles right there as well, 85 for him. So they're definitely doing their things back there, despite losing efforts. But like we said, it was close games. This is overtime games that could have went either way. But both goaltenders definitely, and just as the Ice Hawks, Riverhawks, all three teams. I think you got to have that solid goaltender. But I think what separates with Scrub City, they got two of them, man, two solid goaltenders back there.
yeah, I might have to agree. But I think go ahead.
Sorry. No, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say I think we may have the same first star of the week. For me, I got C. Webby. 5 games played, 13 goals, 6 assists for 19 points. Dude, just tore it up this week. It's partially a reason why they had a big win against Scrub City and went 5-1 this week. So, dude's been a monster on left wing.
No, he has, man, and and this was a tremendous week. Like I said, for the Ice Hogs, big reason, big part, and they continue to roll on here, and he's that huge offense, man. So I mean, I know Ice Hogs are glad they got him here this season, and and it's great to see him here in the bar. We'll see if it continues. In the remainder here of the season. But yeah, I got C-Web as well, man. Couldn't disagree with you there. There's definitely standout guys here this week, but you got to take somebody from Ice Hawks or Riverhawks who and C-Web definitely, man.
I agree.
Okay, all right. Did we have news? What was that? That we want to go over this week, or is that next week, man?
We could do it this week, or we could do it next week. So it is posted. It's in the media chat. So if you want me to read it, I can.
Yeah.
So Hoagie came on not last week, but the week before, and we're going to have an All-Star week. So this is coming straight from Chad. So the dates will be April 3rd through the 5th. Times April 3rd will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and that will be the Breakaway Challenge. April 4th and April 5th, it will be a best of 5 series. It'll be at 9 p.m., 9:45, and 10:15 p.m. on Wednesday, unless both teams to agree starting early on Wednesday. Format will be each team will nominate 2 forwards, 1 D, and 1 goalie. Team management will vote for who they think they should be 2 captains based on what goalies have been nominated. Those 2 will draft their team. It will go 1 forward, 1 D, 1 forward, 1 D, 1 forward, 1 goalie, and then repeat the process until they can no longer do that order. So 4 rounds. After that, they will pick in any order that they choose until there is no players left. This will be done the week prior to the All-Star events so that each team has a chance to prep for everything that is planned. The teams will have until Thursday, 4 p.m. to pick their nominees so that the captains can use them Friday or possibly Saturday to pick their teams. We will talk to both captains to see which day works best for them to sit down in the voice channel to pick players. So yeah, that's the news for the All-Star week this coming April.
Like right after WrestleMania, right? That week there?
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday. So 3-day extravaganza, man. Stretching out to
Yeah.
Monday through Wednesday. That's awesome. So it's not just like a one-day thing. 3 days. So what the bar league like as far as the games that week that there's no bar league games. It's the focus on the All Star or what? It's the
Yeah,
break
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess that is probably the week before
the playoffs.
playoffs will
Okay.
start. Because I believe that there's 2 or 3 weeks left.
Okay.
I think maybe 2, and then we will have our All-Star break, and then playoffs will start.
Okay.
Which
Makes sense. Okay. Okay.
I think the All-Star idea is pretty cool, to be quite honest. I don't know exactly how they're going to do the breakaway challenge. To me, it would seem like
It'd be cool if you get like a 12s lobby thing going, man. Have everybody like on the sides. And just
yeah, I mean
puck,
something like that would be kind of cool. Or like if you're joining practice mode
Yeah, that's
and you have 5 guys sitting on the side of the ice, and then one v versus goalie or whatever. But I don't know. That's pretty cool. And then you got your best of 5 series in the game. So
I'm looking
I mean,
forward for that.
and not
Man.
only that, but if you wanted to, I mean, you could do 6s.
Mhm.
But then if you really wanted to, you could have it like the actual NHL format, and you could do 3s.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
That's
But
true.
yeah, so it's going to be a best of 5 series, and I believe it's going to be 6s. So
Okay.
I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, that is, man. I mean, a lot of leagues don't do it, man. Don't do the All Star or figure it out. But listen, I mean, if it turns out well, listen, I'm assuming they'll continue the tradition on there. If not, but at least league giving a crack at it. Why not? And
Hmm.
but those best of 5 series. Would be tremendous. 'Cause, I mean, you're getting top players in this league, and this season has a lot of them, man. A lot of great talent. It's gonna be hard to select on that, but I mean, just looking at the games here we have this season, with the top 3, even the top 4 teams here this season, has been, we saw all those overtime games last week, and then now you're
Yeah.
putting the top guys from each squad there. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a happy day, man. It's gonna be great to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I do also believe that Jingle had said that he's going to be off that week.
Okay.
So he will actually probably be streaming some of the content.
Okay. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, definitely. We definitely need to get that on stream for sure, man. Get the commentary going for those, especially those that best of 5 series. I definitely want to check that out. He does a tremendous job over there with greatness. Sammy Dunks each week for you guys, and the All Star will be as exciting as those as well. So good to hear, man. Good to hear on that. What was I gonna say about that? With the All Star. Okay, so it's like a shootout thing, and then the best of 5 on there between those 2 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I think we should do our power rankings.
Oh man. The Jingles always gets on us on this, man. He's like, yo, you guys did the power rankings, man.
Yeah. So let's get a little heat in here.
Oh, man.
So I guess I'll give my power rankings first, so we can discuss it. We can have our guests discuss whether or not they think that's cool or not. But so I'm gonna start off by saying number 6 is oldies. They just stink. Poor guys, just I don't know. They're having a rough time. Owed 6 during the week. Now, let me also mention that these are my power rankings for the week, not all season or whatever. So bear in mind. So in number 5, I got the Warriors. They've been playing a little bit better, but they're still average. Next, I got the Magles at number 4. Number 3, I got Steel City. Number 2, I got the Riverhawks. And number 1, I got the Ice Hogs. And the only reason why I have the Ice Hogs at number 1 is because they also do not have a game played, like Snipe had said earlier in the broadcast. So there's your power rankings.
Now they make up that game this week or what? That makeup game.
I think it's
this week.
Yeah, it's got to be played this week.
This week, okay.
I want a little bit of explanation as far as why the game not played counted towards this week this year.
What do you mean?
So you said that this was just for this week, correct?
Yeah.
But if they had a game, they played all 6 games this week.
Yeah.
Why does that one matter?
Because it was played last week. It wasn't played last week.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it.
So, I mean, honestly, I
And look,
bounced.
this is not about me saying that Riverhawk should be on top. This is not about that.
Yeah, I get that, but also like I also bounced back and forth whether or not I was going to put Ice Hogs or Riverhawks first because they both had the same record.
So yeah,
And
I think it's that Penguins hoodie he's got on, man. I think it's getting.
yeah, fucking Capitals. Especially Tom Wilson. Get out of here, bro.
It's okay. You know, I get, you know, Ice Hogs being on top. You know, he was on the Riverhawks, and you know,
Right.
we appreciated him just, you know,
Right.
giving us some good love here in the show, and now he goes to the Ice Hogs, and
I remember that. I remember that. It was like your
it's okay.
spokesman at one point, man. You know.
It's okay. I understand.
And then he turns his back towards you guys, man. It's
That
like,
little-
oh man,
Don't do that
he did
little
the heel
shuffle.
turn.
Ugh.
But Big D, I gotta agree with you as far as the bottom there, oldies. But you know, once the Warriors overtook the oldies, that's it. You know what I mean? I think it's done there, man. Mago remains there at the 4th spot. I think just way too much points to try to overtake at this point, especially the way the top 3 are playing right now. You know, Magos could go undefeated this week, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I'm still riding this Scrub City train, man. I still, you know, it's been 5 weeks. After 5 weeks, they've been number 1, man, all throughout. I know a lot of my guests here probably disagree, but I'm still keeping them number 1. You know, we all have our bad weeks. You know, we all have our bad. You know, this happened to be one of those. But I see Scrub City bouncing back here this week. Like you said, it was close games. Could have went either way. And I think the way the cookie crumbles this week is Scrub City's way. I think they remain there. I think they stay there actually throughout the season as number 1. I don't think there's going to be a change here. But between the Ice Hawks, River Hawks, yeah, I could see that going either way. It's hard to call. I mean, flip a coin here, I guess, you know, between this. The only thing, like you mentioned, they have that game in hand on there, but I don't know. I mean, River Hawks were hot. They took down Scrub City. And I think River Hawks get past the Ice Hogs here, man. I'm on the River Hawks. You made me a believer, Big D, a couple of weeks ago, and even though you got off that River Hawks train, man, I'm still a believer there, man. I think they get past the Ice Hogs, even though with that last game, with that game in hand for the Ice Hogs, I don't think it matters.
So you have Scrub City, Riverhawks, Ice Hogs.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. Okay. I mean, I'm still showing love. I mean, Riverhawks are still number 2 in the book. I mean, next week they might be number 1. So, you know, I'm just going week by week.
He's gonna come up with his Riverhawks sweater next week, man.
Yep, Oldie's number 1 next week.
Oldies goes 6-0. I'll put them first for you, Big D, and you can.
There you go.
There you go, man. Well, listen, fellas. I mean, it's been a pleasure. Cian, thanks for coming on here. Been a great guest here. Same thing with Sniper. Appreciate it. And I know the league loves it too, man. They like to see other people, like to hear other people, and that's the whole point of the show too. We like to get guys on here, get the interaction. You know, it's made by the community for the community here for the Bar League. And good luck the rest through remainder of the season and into the playoffs as well. But tremendous guests here, man. Thanks for coming on here, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Big D.
I want to chime in on your
yeah.
power rankings just for a sec.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Because, unbiased opinion here, like looking at mathematic and numbers only, like pretend I'm not even an Ice Hog. I it's hard to sleep on the Ice Hogs if you look at numbers, because you look at those games played, as we've been talking about. You got Scrub City with 30 games played. You got the Ice Hogs with 29 games played. And you got the Riverhawks with 30 games played. But if you look at the actual record, Scrub City's got 19 wins, 7 losses, 4 overtime losses. Riverhawks have 19 wins, 9 losses, 2 overtime losses. And Frontline has 19 wins, 7 losses, and 3 overtime losses. So if the Ice Hogs played that game against Maggles and they lose in overtime, then they have the exact same record as Scrub City. If they win that game, then we're looking at the Frontline Ice Hogs with 20 wins, Scrub City and Riverhawks both having 19, which puts you got Frontline, Scrub, and then Riverhawks. But if they lose that game, then you're looking at the Ice Hogs being 19, 8, and 3, which leaves the standings the exact same way they are right now. So that game in hand against the Maggles is a pretty big game, because if Maggles win that game, it pulls them 2 points closer in the race. But if they lose that game, then that's putting Frontline 1 point ahead of Scrub City. But with one game less, I guess what I'm trying to say is Scrub City and the Ice Hogs have the exact same record, and the Ice Hogs have played one less game.
I get
I'm
you.
gonna have to agree
I
with
get you
that.
there, Sniper. I mean, you bringing up a lot of stats on here, but here's a stat I'm looking at on here. Riverhawks 3-game winning streak right now, 8-1-1. Now you look at the 3 teams: Scrub City, Ice Hawks, Riverhawks. Right? Let's just break it down. These 3 teams, okay? Ice Hogs have allowed the most goals out of those 3 teams, 105 here on the season. Okay, Ice Hogs also are the lowest on here as far as goals for. You got 134 for Scrub City. You got 151 for the Riverhawks. Only 120 for the Ice Hogs. So that's why I got Riverhawks and I got Scrub City ahead of the Ice Hogs. I may be wrong, but I look at the stats, man. I look at the stats here. You know, not only I'm not only trying to look pretty here or go by Big D's input here, but those 3 teams, man, I don't know, man. I mean, the Riverhawks are hot. You guys had a hot week here as well, but the numbers as far as goals against, goals for, I still think Riverhawks and Scrub City are better.
This last week alone, I got Riverhawks at number 1. If we're talking just this week that we just played, I got Riverhawks at number 1 all day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's really funny because you said just this past week. I actually would have had the Ice Hogs ahead because you guys did beat us in that head-to-head matchup. That's the whole reason I would have had that.
Okay.
So I guess we're both too humble. Maybe we need to start just being mean again.
Screw it, Ice Hogs number 1, baby.
To be honest, I don't think my team's number 1, because you can't lose it when the race is this close. And I got nothing against the Warriors. I like a lot of the people on that team. But in a race this close, you can't be dropping games to teams that are below you in the standings and expect to be number 1. You can't be losing those games. Yeah. Those games are almost more important than the games against the guys that are right neck and neck with you on the leaderboard. Because dropping 2 points to a lower seeded team is 2 points that somebody else is going to gain because they're not dropping those points.
That's a good point. Good point you make, man. Because CN and the Riverhawks over there do not lose to teams like the Warriors. Well, we've seen Scrub City do it, and we've seen happen to the Ice Hogs here this week. So, but we'll see, man. But regardless,
I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Warriors start climbing the leaderboard. I really won't. They I don't know what it is about that roster, but they got a lot of guys that play well together, and I won't be surprised if they start climbing.
No, those guys have a lot of heart, man. I give it to them, man. That entire team comes in and they, it's not a team that just shows up to play, man. I mean, they show up each week trying to win on there, and they've had good weeks. You know, it's just a terrible start, man, which really hurt them. But we'll see what happens. But I mean, looking at this, regardless, we look at the points, we look at the other standings there, goals for, how well the teams are playing. One thing we could all agree on, I mean, this season is very competitive, man. I mean, you looked at, it's not just where you could just say, oh, this team's going to freaking win it all, or this team has been dominant throughout the season, because standings have been shifted on there. There's been, it's not like one team that leads by like 10 points, at this point, because there's been seasons like that, there's been one team dominant throughout, or maybe one or two teams dominant. Not the case here this week, man. And you can't even count out the Magos, man, because Magos are still, in that picture on there. And, come playoff time on there, it's anybody's game. So, and you love that. As a league on here, I know this season, coming in with just the 6 teams, but you can't disagree that it's not been, it's been a competitive season, and the playoffs are going to be wild, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Like come playoff time, like Magos are sneaky good.
Yeah.
So like if they could get everyone to play like on their roster throughout the playoffs. Now, granted, they might have a lot of late signups, so they can only play 3 games in the playoffs. But even still, you can play your three games as your top lines, and they could easily go up 3-0 in a series. That's just the talent they have. Like Fly, he has 5 games, 23 points. So, like, if you can get more availability from those guys, Cavi has 7 games played, 20 points. I think they'll be sneaky good.
Absolutely. All right, fellas. Well, I mean, it's been great on here. I'm gonna go around the horn here, just final before we close things out here. You guys want to give any shout out or any final words here before I close this out? Start with you, CN over there, man. Once again, thanks for coming on here. Appreciate it. Good luck throughout the rest of the remainder season. Any final words here when we close out?
No, that I think I'd.
Any specific shout out to anybody?
I'm gonna give a shout out that's not it doesn't have a reason yet, and it's gonna be shout out to Chad for when he finally bans shrimp. That's my shout out.
Is Reamer still in the chat or what, man? That's one of the other guys too, man.
No, I don't know what's going on with that.
Watson or whatever they call him. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Good old Reimer.
I am reformed. I'm not gonna slip back to my days of just attacking everyone. I'm good.
How about you, Sniper, man? The final words? Any shout out there on your end?
My only shout out really this league is Dad Smith. I mean, looking at the Warriors and the way they started this season, I mean, I believe at the beginning of the season he himself had a little bit of availability issues, so they didn't start out too strong, but a couple of guys TR'd off his team, but he made some moves and he's turning that team around. I mean, I was in the game against him when we lost in overtime this week, and he played defense, and not a lot of guys could get past him. I mean, his big gold truck build, you skate down the ice, it was like playing against Shrimp 2.0 or Heartsy. Like, you're not getting past him. You had to pass that puck quick. And when he's on the ice and the team he started to build, I mean, they're starting to look like they're a team that's going to compete. Like, you can't just throw whatever line you want against the Warriors anymore. When you match the Warriors, you got to top line them. I mean, they're here to compete, they're here to win, and like, you got to respect them for that. I mean, he's turning a situation that was not so great into a pretty damn good team. So I got to give him a shout out for that.
Yeah. I mean, what team starts out with like 0 wins, first week, not getting anything their second week, and then just able to turn things around? I mean, that's tremendous. So shout out to him, man, as well. Big D, man, what you got here? Final thoughts?
Just other than good luck to everybody next week. It's pretty even. Even though Magos is out of 8 points away from, third. They're still competitive. But like I said, it's a real competitive season, and just good luck to everybody. And lastly,
Besides the Riverhawks?
yeah, so next week we play in the Penguin Cup final. So again, I will be linking the stream, the website down in the Sports Center if anybody wants to watch. I know Hoagie's been watching, and but appreciate you guys, anybody that's been watching our high school team try to win the championship. So appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, fellas, everybody, thanks for tuning in on this Friday night. Appreciate it. We love the support here. Any input, comments, make sure you guys leave them below. What you guys think, with the layout here, what you guys want to see on the show more. Let Big D or myself know. And we'll try to get you guys more guests here next week, man, as we narrow down here the final weeks of the regular season. Mr. Hollywood, Big D, Snipe, and CN, man.